Right, let's flip it over and speak to someone who supports the visitors today from the Blue.
Go on live.
It's Ben Bloom. Morning, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Morning, chaps. How we doing?
Yeah, good.
Very good. Oh, he's sounding crystal clear.
And and Ben always does. It's a beautiful thing when you talk to Ben because he's got this clear sound, but how cloudy is the Ipswich vision at the moment? Because I was amazed at Paul Lambert's statement of 3 weeks ago, in which he kind of, if you didn't think there was a crisis, did his words sort of invent one?
Well, Mark, he was given a 5-year contract after that statement, so perhaps
interesting
perhaps
interview that would have been, wouldn't it?
Yeah, perhaps those timings may or may not be interlinked, but it was odd, and I was just nodding along to everything you were just saying with Niall. It's an absolute car crash, this league, isn't it? I think someone could genuinely get promoted, like from 6th place with 71 points or something, like the lowest. Do you know what I mean? The lowest possible, especially with only 23 teams in it without Bury. But yeah, you're reeling off all of those teams. Every single one of those teams in the top 8 has had a run this season of sort of 7-8 games with only 3 or 4 points over that period. So no one really consistent at all, and it's frankly anybody's. And with Ipswich's inability to have beaten a top 8 team now for the entire season, we're starting to get a little bit concerned.
I'm looking at that right now. I was going to go down that route with you because you haven't beaten anyone that's in the shake-up. It's quite remarkable. The highest place side you've beaten is in 10th. That's Fleetwood Town. The rest of the games, there's been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 matches, no wins. And most of them have been fairly low-scoring affairs. Is that how this one's going to pan out as well today, do you think?
Well, Sunderland draw all their games 1-1, don't they? With about 25 1-1 draws. But Adrian, you say that, but the thing is, we could completely fluke this. 9 of our last 13 games are at home. After today, that's Sunderland done. Oxford's done in a couple of weeks. So we could have this terrible run, and then we do seem to have this nice downhill coast. So we could not beat any good teams and still, because there's no one on, no one is on 2 points per game, we could still, jam our way into the top 2. That's obviously, if we get into the playoffs and we've not beaten a top 8 team all season, well, that logic doesn't add up too well, does it?
Yeah, I do like that. Ben Bloom, MD, Dr. Spin, very, very well.
Stop it, Mark.
But it's a very good point. So tell me about the weapons that you got that you think you can do that damage with.
Well, the weapon we hoped all season was, the size of the squad and the ability to rotate and things of that nature. But just coming up against Peterborough last week, and they had Smodic and Tony and Dembele up front, it just made us think we may have a big squad, but other teams have got these killer players that are doing us in these big games. So they seem to have settled on the 3-5-2. Hopefully that stays now for the rest of the season. The young players, Wolfen and Downs, obviously you'll have heard about them, are some kind of weapon. But I can't get past this. If we cannot beat a team in the top 8, then by definition we cannot win a playoff semi-final. So we're all very concerned. And today would be a lovely marker. Go off to Sunderland in 7th place, big club, big stadium. Go and win. And then, obviously everyone's worried about Pompey. Yeah, they're coming up soon as well. But that would be the hope today.
Yeah, well, we did a few predictions earlier on in the show. I predicted Ipswich should get a point. I don't think Mark backed you. I am, by the way, I must confess. Obviously I played for Arsenal. I'm a former junior blue, Ben. I am back in the day, back in the 80s,
Why did you never play for us?
Well, it's one of the biggest regrets of my career because it is because when I left Arsenal, I had talks with George Burley.
You played for Arsenal and you regret not playing for Ipswich. Really? That doesn't matter.
Well, when I left Arsenal, I had talks with George Burley at
and that
Portman Road.
That was a great team as well, that turned into.
Yeah, well, when did I leave Arsenal? 97, I left. And what it boiled down to was that George said that my chief scout thinks you're great. He's recommending you. He said my other scout, I think he was. I can't remember the name. One of my other scouts He's not so sure about it.
Oh, really?
He said, and I haven't seen enough of you, so why don't you come with us for pre-season and we'll look at each other sort of thing. And the problem was I had contract offers on the table elsewhere, and I took it and ran when I wish I'd backed myself to get that deal with Ipswich.
I think that the simple solution was the two scouts have it out in the car park, and whoever's left standing, you did or didn't sign. It seems so much simpler.
I would have loved to have played for Ipswich. Give us a score then, prediction today, Ben.
I'll go 1-1. It's Sunderland, isn't it? 1-1. Come on.
He's at the 1-1.
Of course, it's 1-1. Ben, really appreciate your time.
Cheers,
Good
Ben.
luck
Love
today.
it, guys. Speak soon.
Yeah, nice work. Ben Bloom there from the Blue Monday podcast before.